So, as far as this matchup is concerned, Ian, I feel like it's kind of similar to our previous Aether Vial versus Lightning Bolt matchup. That it can kind of swing either way. It depends a lot on Burn having maybe an early recursive source of damage in a creature that's going to get through a couple humans at the beginning of the game, or it's going to be Nat leading with Vial and then double spelling and creating a pretty big army. Any other additional thoughts on the matchup?
Uh, no, I mean, I think beyond just this matchup, we have been talking for a while about how we just think Burn is well positioned. I mean, as the meta has kind of shown for a while, but I feel like this shop has not had many Burn players, and I think Burn's finally starting to get the respect that it deserves in this shop as a premier modern deck.
Yeah, I feel like Modern's gotten a little bit less degenerate in terms of I'm going to combo you off on turns like 3, and Burn is a pretty good turn 4 deck.
So, in response to Nat playing the Meddling Mage, Elizabeth goes ahead and bolts Nat, which I think is good. I think Bolt is kind of the level 0 name if you're Nat, and so Elizabeth just kind of like dropping that from the get-go.
Okay, we named a Searing Blaze with that. It was interesting to see Nat sequence Hierarch into Meddling Mage, then land drop into Hierarch instead of land drop Meddling Mage. I don't know. I'm curious why I do one over the other. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. If you're on Nat's, ooh, this seems very strong. Those noble hierarchs are actually going to do quite a bit here. I think Elizabeth's going to be hard pressed to clock Nat quickly enough, especially with searing effects turned off, excuse me, and it looks like 2 Eidolons kind of rotting in hand for Elizabeth. Got to be careful here. If you play those Eidolons, you could very well get locked under your own Eidolons in Elizabeth's seat.
Okay, we get a Rift Bolt suspended. I bet we might get a Boros Charm at the end of turn.
I think Elizabeth rightfully concluding that the Eidolons...
Well, can't play an Eidolon because of Reflector Mage that turn.
Ah, good point.
But it is interesting. Follow up next turn playing Eidolons might be fine just to be a blocker. Because Nat is going to have to attack. This game is pretty interesting. I feel like Nat's favored at this point, but you know, you can see a series of Boros Charms off the top, and that's usually going to be enough.
So will we see a response here? I think if I'm in Elizabeth's seats,
And
so
Meddling Mage on Rift Bolt, which Nat knows is going to come down the next turn.
so if I'm okay, there we go. Yep. I think Elizabeth is pretty much priced into bolting that Meddling Mage. Otherwise, you're just giving up the value of that Rift Bolt. And Elizabeth fetching EOT, probably looking to maximize mana. I guess you know you're obviously you're turning off searing effects, but maybe Elizabeth feeling like there's not a chance that they will end up using another effect on the Meddling Mage to unlock a searing effect this game anyway. Tough spot for Elizabeth. Nat at 15. It's a long way to go for Elizabeth.
Okay, it's going to take out the Meddling Mage with Searing Blaze on it, so we get a draw. And, well, get a Searing Blaze, so pretty cool call.
And what do you hit if you're in Elizabeth's seats here?
Well, probably Reflector Mage.
You think that over the Bugler, even though it's you're thinking of what is Phantasmal Image? What's worse with Phantasmal Image?
Oh, we choose a Bugler. Both creatures are fair targets, I think.
Additionally, the Bugler does have Vigilance, so that would keep Elizabeth if they run out the Eidolon. It would keep the Eidolon from being able to attack. So I definitely could see it being defensible in just that respect.
I feel like this Eidolon might just be on chump blocking duty, hopefully to save turns to draw some more burn spells. And maybe get Nat to play something pre-combat to take some
Yep.
damage from it.
I was going to say, yeah, completely agree. It's like cycling the Grove.
Oh, we're going to get some value out of this Eidolon.
Or will we? Do you think Nat'll just serve? I think if I'm Nat, I just serve with the Mantis Rider. Looks like we had the life total slightly off. Elizabeth down to 5. That is a tough spot to be locked up at. And Mantis Rider's coming in for lethal next turn, so.
Well, that's it.
And now we're locked. So Elizabeth with a bold play of casting another Eidolon. Dead to the Mantis Rider, maybe hoping Nat will forget and play 3 spells this turn. But, you know, there wasn't really any way out of that for Elizabeth.
Well, sometimes when you're going down, you just got to flex a little bit.
Yeah. You got to show them what you had in your hand. And I think, you know, play versus draw, very, very important in this matchup.
Yeah, and I think it might be something where if I'm in Elizabeth's shoes, if I'm on the play, I might keep in the Eidolons, but if I'm on the draw, I might take them out. As far as other sideboard strategies, if there's, any other... Oh, Nat was trying... sorry, we got some funny messages from our players there in large handwriting. Do you bring in if you're Burn? I always feel like it's an interesting question, and I've played a lot of Burn, although it's been a while, but that's what I first started playing in Modern and Legacy, and I like going back to it every now and then. With this Boros version, when you're playing against humans, do you bring in Path to Exiles, or do you kind of ignore any spells that aren't going to be doing damage?
I don't think you bring in Path to Exiles.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not. I did see some spice. It looked like Elizabeth taking a look at Deflecting Palm that I'm not sure if that was in the main to start, but maybe Deflecting Palm on the chopping block here. Just taking another quick look through possible cards to board in or out. I love Deflecting Palm, mostly because I think it just has like...
Oh wow, we're doing the full 15 shuffle.
Oh.
Love it. I think that's what happened, although I could be wrong. I think we just shuffled in the whole sideboard. Maybe we'll go through and take out the stuff.
Did you just hear about the brand new format?
I could be totally wrong.
Yeah,
and
we're doing
have
an awful lot of shuffling to be taking
Well,
them out.
well, maybe we just boarded a lot of cards.
Or maybe we're going to present as 75?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Yeah. It is. Boarding all 15 is the power move.
I mean, I think we were talking earlier about how I accidentally boarded in an additional 8 cards
Yeah.
earlier without taking 8 out, so...
I feel like in Burn, it would be like straight suicide. Rest in Peace against humans seems not very strong. But I think Elizabeth probably did not do that and is presenting a 60-card deck full of cards that are good.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, people started buying it.
Oh, the paths did come in. And...
I teach middle school, and so
we're just on
So
one
one
land. I feel like the
lander.
one land hands are kind of a trap with Burn, so...
Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth looked, and there were 2 lands on top of the library. But would have probably shuffled from the fetch in any case, so, you know.
Do you look?
No, I never look.
Yeah, I always look.
You look?
I totally look, yeah.
What?
Yeah, I look.
This is very surprising to me. Why?
Because it's fun.
Ugh. I can't condone looking. Nuglow. Another A couple dang chat is full of always lookers too.
Figure out what to put on the bottom.
Like the only possible outcome is that you like tilt yourself.
Like emotionally.
I guess you could feel big brained. I guess you get maybe a slightly larger, like you either feel big brained or you tilt yourself.
Well, that's only for people that like lean towards tilting, and some of us are just cool-headed and
Yeah,
like to know what the
right.
next card is going to be.
Right. Chat, y'all are crazy.
I love it when Burn leads like land lava spike. It's just send a message. We're doing some damage to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we have an Eidolon, which two Eidolons, which if Nat didn't have the vial would have been pretty sweet. Now it gets interesting.
Yeah, man, the difference between Eidolon and the play versus the draw is just massive.
Kind of unfortunate that there was a vial too.
Yep.
As much as I feel like I'm supposed to be biased because we had Nat's kid Ezra was on stream earlier, and I feel like for full transparency, I should mention that Nat is my landlord, so I can't be too despairing towards his play. I'm kind of rooting for Elizabeth in this match. Just saying.
I am. I am a little bit too. Nat's beaten me down with humans a number of times, and I have some unresolved feelings about it. Thanks, Urchin, for coming to your senses and recognizing the truth of looking versus not looking.
And Nat likes to cast spells without tapping land. Okay, there we go.
I mean, it's if you're gonna do it, it's a good way to do it. All right, well, this is pretty solid.
Yeah, it gets awkward though with that Aether Vial. Nat might not ever have to cast another spell though.
Oops. There we are.
Lose 2 more from that.
I don't think you do, because you cast it when it wasn't on the battlefield.
No, but this one's already on the battlefield.
Yeah, but... Oh, did you shock yourself?
I shocked myself.
Oh, that's 1 there. So
One there.
you went to 7?
Yeah, I believe.
You took 2 off the Eidolon to 15, is that right?
Oh, okay, so I shocked myself down to 18 because this
That was the first turn, and that was your lava spike.
lava spike.
Okay.
Use this twice?
I think Elizabeth is correct. So we're at 14.
Some of us like to be in touch with our emotional side, but we don't let that overtake our rational thinking. But it's important to have a balanced life and perspective on magic.
I like to feel strong emotions in things that aren't magic. Back to the game. I am a little bit surprised Elizabeth did not attack with the Eidolon that last turn. I felt like that was possibly 2 free damage. Nat had the vial on 1, so I don't think there were any great opportunities for him to vial anything in.
Yeah, and I do also like that trade. If you're trading Eidolon for one of Nat's creatures and you get back a spell, seems fine.
Urchin with the nice balanced approach. Appreciate it. What about picking up half the deck? Do you pick up half the deck or do you pick up the entire
I pick
deck?
up the entire deck.
Yeah, me too. I don't ever trust half the deck.
I played too many one-ofs.
Yeah. I just don't think you can trust half the deck anyway.
Then your other half of the deck feels neglected, and
It's
it might not be nice to you for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you're going to have one of those situations where your sleeves won't wear evenly and you're going to get DQ'd later because of it. Oh, just so many possible bad things. Okay. Okay. All right, I think Elizabeth realizing that it's going to be tough sledding here.
That seems good. Okay, so, and you paid the tax.
Yep.
So I'm at 10, you're at 10, because 1 Eidolon in play. So, is that right?
I should be. So I should had myself at 11.
Oh, 11 from the canyon, so you're at 9.
I think you can use that for colorless when you're casting a Searing Blaze, correct?
And I'm at 10.
Which?
Was it
Oh no, you're right.
The
We're at
canyon's
9.
going to deal you damage, period, when you
Yep.
tap it, so.
Does that sound all right?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds right.
Oh, Nuggle, that is so tilting. Even it's actually a thing that tilts me when I see my opponent pick up, especially like that small of an amount of the deck. I'm like, do you seriously think that the card that you want's gonna be in a quarter?
I only make my opponents do that when I flash in an Aven Mind Sensor.
Yeah, yeah, you only get 4. Take a look at 4. That's all you get. Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a degree of strategic tilting.
Like when I use my tiny dice on coverage.
Yeah, I mean that's just disrespectful.
Uh, so Nat trying to push some damage through here.
Okay, I can totally get behind whiteboarding your deck though. I think whiteboarding your deck is just like it's such a commitment that like the flex of that commitment is just monstrous.
Before block, activate.
Is this going to be a Mantis Rider? A Recruiter of the Guard? Or, well, same difference. Or a Knight of Autumn. We're going to gain some life.
It's pretty strong here.
Destroy the Eidolon.
Yeah. Take it.
Oh, that.
Well, I didn't cast it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry. The Aether Valor 3-drop. Yeah.
Huh, I kind of like the gaining life and then blocking better than the destroying the enchantment or artifact there, but either way seems like a win for Nat.
Yeah. Elizabeth is going to be hard pressed to get out of this. Maybe Nat looking at, what is it, 2 cards in hand for Elizabeth? So I guess, yeah, if Elizabeth had exactly double Boros Charm.
Well, we're going to be able to draw a card, and we have a path in hand, so we can probably prevent lethal from happening, get a Skull Crack, and then maybe draw into
We're still
2
going to be
spells?
one short, huh?
Well, you get two new cards to see with the draw step and
And
cracking a Sunbaked Canyon.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Thalia attacks, though, is going to be rough. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if Elizabeth has any outs here.
It's looking pretty rough right now.
Yeah, looking a little grim. I forgot. Nat actually did know about that Skullcrack as it was under the Kitesail freebooter, so was positive that 8 damage would be impossible for Elizabeth that last turn on 2 cards.
I only have 1 pot.
Yeah, one path. Either way, it's a 4/4.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth noting that we're just not going to be able to get there, and Nat's able to take the W on old Humies.